Hey guys, in today's video I want to talk about renting a car and driving in Iceland, especially during winter. So renting a car in Iceland is very expensive. A 10-day rental with an insurance package can cost you up to $1,000, and the gasoline is also very expensive. So every time you fill your car, it can be up to $100 for each fill, depending on the car you have, of course. So I used 3 rental companies while I was there. The first one was called Sad Cars. Second one was called Thrifty Dollar, which is a pretty well-known brand here in the States. And the last one I used was a private company out of Selfis called Selfis Car Rental. And that is a small business owned by a local family in Iceland. So I went with Sad Cars because in 2016 and also today, they're still the cheapest option to rent a car. And they had a really bad reputation back in 2016 because the cars were really worn out and heavily used. But in 2018, when I rented from them, they gave me a brand new Ford Escape, which was a nice surprise. And I think it was because they recently merged with another rental company. So what I recommend you bring to your rental car is a USB adapter that plugs into your cigarette lighter, because you want to be able to charge your phone and use the GPS while you're driving in Iceland. And also I recommend getting a data package, a SIM card, during your trip in Iceland, because the GPS function on Google Maps is very useful, and you would hate to get lost in Iceland because some of these roads you might be the only car out there. Alright, so the major cities that you could rent a car from is the Keflavik Airport. You could rent one from the city of Reykjavik, and their rental car offices also in Akureyri. And there's one rental office in Selfos. It's a private company, really small family-owned business, but it's a little pricey. So it's not a bad location to rent from, because from Selfos you could do the Golden Circle, and if you want to do a day trip from there, it's not a bad option, but it is a little bit more expensive than your brand name rental car companies. A tip I have for you is buy the insurance package that comes with your car. You never know what's going to happen in Iceland. Wind, snow, ice, gravel, rocks, hail, anything could happen on the roads, and there's a lot of things on the road that could damage your car. And you might be thinking, well, I have an American Express Platinum card or a Visa card that offers car insurance. But what a lot of rental companies will do is, if they find damage on your car, they'll ask you for the money first until your credit card company or your insurance company pays out. And once the insurance company pays out, they'll give you a refund on what you have already paid. Just save yourself some trouble and buy the insurance packages that come with the car. Alright, so how could you save money when the rental fees are just outrageous and the gas prices are just really expensive? So there's 2 ways to save money. If you go on couch surfing, there's a lot of people, especially backpackers, who are looking to share rides in cars. So you can split the cost of the car and the price of gasoline by going on couch surfing, meeting some fellow travelers, and just sharing costs with them. You'll also meet a lot of people at hostels who are looking for rides, and you can save money that way as well. And also there's a carpooling website specific to Iceland called samferda.net, and it's a carpooling website where people are looking for rides and even offering rides. So if you go on that website and you want to give someone a ride, a lot of times they'll offer to pay some money for the petrol or gasoline. So that's another way you can save money. So the big question that I get asked a lot is, do I need all-wheel drive? For winter, the answer is yes, because you'll encounter ice and snow on the road, and you want that all-wheel drive for that extra traction. But what you want to consider is, you don't want a big bulky SUV, especially an SUV that's shaped like a box, because if it's really windy, the car will get pushed around a lot, and those bulky SUVs don't do well in windy situations, and when you're driving around corners, when you're driving downhill around the turn, And it can become a little dangerous to drive those cars in windy situations and during icy situations because of the way they handle. What you want instead is an aerodynamic a crossover SUV that has all-wheel drive, like a Subaru Forester, Ford Escape, or a Mazda CX-3, which I drove and it handled great in the different weather conditions I encountered. So that's what you want to consider. You don't necessarily want a big SUV because it will not handle the wind well if there's high wind conditions. And also make sure your rental cars have studded tires and make sure that the studs on those tires are not worn out. And what's also really dangerous is even though the roads might look clear, there might be ice that you can't see. So don't get complacent and think, oh, the roads are clear and it looks fine, so I'm gonna drive a little faster. No, there might still be ice on the roads. I personally know someone who was thrown off the road. The roads looked completely clear and he was driving and all of a sudden he lost control of his vehicle and went off-road. So just keep that in mind. I've heard a lot of stories and I've seen a couple of cars that have gone off roads because it was too icy or snowy outside. And when I was there in 2018, there was actually a few people who died on the roads because their car was going over a bridge, they lost control, car went off the bridge and people died. So just keep that in mind. Also, what I recommend is if you plan on driving in Iceland, check the road conditions daily. Go to road.is, that is the official Iceland road condition website, and it gives you a color-coded map of what the road conditions look like. So if the roads are all marked red, don't drive. Don't get overconfident or think that because you've driven on ice and snow before, you can go out there on the road when the government is telling you not to go on the roads. So check the road conditions, don't get overconfident, and when the road conditions tell you not to drive, don't drive. It's not worth it. Alright, also another tip is the road going from Reykjavik to Selfoss, going southeast on Road 1, which is part of the ring road, it always gets foggy at night, whether you're going uphill or downhill. So just be really careful during that section of the road because from both times when I've driven on that road, it has gotten foggy, extremely foggy, where you have to drive really slow because you can't see anything in front of you. And high wind can be extremely dangerous in Iceland, like I talked about earlier. There was one time when me and my friends were driving to look for the Northern Lights, and one second we're on the right side of the road, and then the next second we're on the other side of the road, where traffic was going the opposite direction, so that was very dangerous. So you just want to look out for that as well. During high wind conditions, you might be pushed into the other side of the road. And it's always helpful to know how to regain control if, God forbid, your car starts skidding and sliding on the ice that may be present on the road. So if you come from a place where there's a lot of snow and ice, it might not be a problem for you. But if you come from a place where there's never any snow, you might want to have someone else drive maybe, or not even drive at all if there's a lot of ice because it just may be too dangerous. Alright, so here's some extra tips for you guys for driving in Iceland. So the tunnels are all toll roads from what I've seen, and to pay for the tolls you have to pre-register your car on the tunnel website, and from there they'll automatically charge your credit card that you link to your vehicle. Or else what will happen is you'll go through the tunnel, the rental car company will get a fine, and the fine will be passed on to you, and they'll charge you an administrative fee on top of the toll fee that the rental car company had to pay for you. So you'll get charged extra. So just pay ahead of time and register your vehicle on the tunnel websites. So one more tip is not speed. There's a lot of speed cameras in Iceland, and once the camera takes a picture of you, they'll send a bill to you by mail to your mailing address back home. And also don't speed because it's just dangerous. There's a lot of winding roads that go up and downhill in Iceland, and when there's ice and snow, that makes it even more dangerous, so don't speed because you could die, so don't do it. Alright, and most importantly, know your limits. If you're not comfortable driving, don't drive. And if the weather conditions are just outrageous out there, just hang tight, don't drive, wait another day, maybe you could drive the next day. Just take your time. Nothing is worth getting injured or dying. So just know your limits and be careful out there. Okay, so that was my video. If you like this video, give me a like and drop a comment below if you want to see anything else regarding tips on traveling in Iceland, anything, just name it and I'll try to make a video. And thanks for watching.